Good morning, everybody, to the Antidote of Song. Got some great songs for you, and we hope you'll sing along. And we hope that your day is full of peace and hope and joy, because the music is what binds us, woman, man, and girl and boy. That's a new song. It just happened about 10 minutes ago. Maybe I'll write more to it later on, but not enough time now. Let's welcome everybody into the room. First of all, we've got Jaden on tech. Welcome to Jaden and to Jojo Rassi, who's always our host. And this wouldn't be happening without her intelligence and her creativity and her genius. So Jo, thank you very much. And our host is Sally Rogers. Yay! Say hello to Sally. We've got the curly tops, Dan Walker and Jenny in from Suffolk. And we've got Cricket and Annette and Arlene and Deborah and Susan G. And Kevin in DC playing his flute. Wish I could hear you, Kevin. And Ann Morris and Kathy M. And Luda, my friend in Victoria here. And Jenny in Norfolk. She, hers, and Sheila in Florida. And Kevin Ennis and Sherry. And Aloysius driving somewhere in Westford, Massachusetts. And we've got Ruth in Birmingham, in Brum, just about to have the what are the games right there going on right now? Yeah, starting, okay. The Commonwealth Games, and Susan Miller in Seattle, and Wendy Luella, and Mabel with her bears dancing on Bronwyn, and Kate, and James Harkless, welcome James, and Ralph, and Anne in Maryland, and my friend Storm, and Carolyn Wolf saying that it's 845 days of the Daily Antidote, and Jane in Texas, and Cy Singer, and Jamie in Victoria, and Stephen, Michelle, and Lorna in Portland, and Delhi, and Sarah, and Martha Wagner, and Nancy, and there's a few people who are not on video, but there's Caroline, and G.D. Peabody, Amanda, and Miles, and Leaf, and Kretz, and Harriet, and Jane, and Sarah, and Betsy. Welcome everybody to the daily, not the weekly, not the monthly, not the annual, but the daily Antidote of Song. Oh, welcome everybody. Hope your day is starting well. For us here on the West Coast, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, but for others of you, it's noon. For others of you, maybe it's even later. And for those of us who are in Suffolk and UK, it's probably around 8 o'clock in the evening. But we hope you're all well. Well, I know that I was going to be hosting this morning, and Joe and I talked about that a week or so ago, but I didn't know who I was going to be hosting, and I feel like I've hit the jackpot. One of my musical heroes is here, and I am so happy to be introducing to you all somebody who has taught me a lot of songs over the years and has taught many, many people. She's one of those people who is a song carrier. She finds songs, she writes songs, and she spreads them out there, and she does what human beings have needed to do for millions of years, and that is sing together. So Sally, welcome to you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Do you want me to just start out with the song, or do you want to talk?
Yeah, we could do that. Why don't you tell us something about the song, and then we can start out, and we can
Well, I
talk more
will.
about it later.
I wrote this song on January 6th at noon. The time of day is very critical to the understanding of this song because only an hour and a half later, we had an insurrection at the Capitol. But I wrote this song at noon because my friend Suzanne, who lived in Ashland, Oregon, wrote me an email and she said, you should really write a song about Stacey Abrams because John Ossoff and Reverend Warnock would not have gotten elected today had it not been for her. and I had to agree with her entirely. And she gave me a whole list of reasons why Stacey Abrams was such a wonderful person, and I had to agree with every one of them. So I wrote her back and I said, you know what? I think you should write a song. And then I wrote a song. And I have to give Suzanne Anderson credit because she, these words really came from her email, almost all of them, except for the chorus maybe. So as I say, this was written on January 6th of 2021. And you all can sing along with the chorus, which is very, very simple. And because there are so many of you who love to sing, we will sing the chorus 2 times every time. It goes like this. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stolen election didn't stop you. Voter suppression didn't stop you. Blatant racism didn't stop you. Georgia has turned blue. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Thousands heard your quiet roar. They all went knocking door to door. Registered voters more and more. Now Georgia has turned blue. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. You showed Georgia what to do. Got some help from the nation too. Convinced the donors to come through. Now Georgia has turned blue. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Thanks to you from our great nation, you have built a strong foundation. Now take a well-earned short vacation. Georgia has turned blue. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. We could use a few more of ya.
Whoa, thank you, Sally Rogers. So,
You're welcome. I just realized there's so many people here from the UK. I apologize. I know this song has very little to do with you. However, I know that US politics often affect the world, and so if you don't know who Stacey Abrams is, it's pretty good time to learn. She's wonderful.
Well, you know what? I was thinking when you were singing that song. I'm in Canada. There's a few other folks from. Notice Wendy Luella, wonderful song leader, is here from Canada,
Yeah.
and a few other folks from Victoria, my hometown. And what you're saying is exactly right. You know, U.S. politics does affect the world, and we're here in.
I'm sorry about that. I'm really sorry about
No,
that.
no, 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 no. We're looking. I'm looking south of the border, and I'm just shaking my head, and I'm wondering, because everybody I know, and I have many, many dear friends south of the border in the 48 states and in Hawaii and in the U.S., and they're all of a like mind. And I think to myself, who is it who's actually voting for what's happening down there and supporting
All the
it?
people you don't know.
All the people I don't know. So tell me about the place of. So we're involved. We're definitely involved. We get it. and we're just a short. I'm just a short ferry ride from the U.S. right here. So, and that's the way Canada is. So, in for whatever happens, one of our, just back up the truck for a minute. One of our prime ministers a few years ago, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, said that living next to the U.S. is like sleeping in bed with an elephant, you know, because whatever the elephant does, you're affected, and that's kind of the way it is.
So my question is, if he runs again, and I won't say his name, I refuse. If he runs again, and if you should get elected, which is a definite possibility at this point, can we come to Canada? when I
Well,
was when I was in my 20s, and Stan Rogers was one of my good friends, and he really encouraged me to sing and brought me to Canada. I got to play at most of the Canadian festivals in the 80s. And every year I think, oh, I should just move to Canada, because I met all these people, friends of mine who were, expats from the States who had moved to Canada. And I lived in Michigan, which was close. I thought, well, I could move to Canada. I'd be close to there, and I'd have all these gigs because I'd be in Canada. And I never did it.
well, many did, and many still are. Apparently, the immigration is going wild that way. But tell me, what about the place of singing for this kind of these kinds of situations, Sally? I mean, you're obviously writing songs about all of this. Does it is it to keep yourself sort of involved and hopeful? Tell me about that.
Well, one thing that occurred to me, and it's a good thing it finally occurred to me during COVID and now, is the important role that singing plays. Sometimes I feel not hopeless, but helpless. Like there's nothing I can do to change things. And every now and then I finally get the wake up call that says, look, you're singing songs. Other people are singing them, and people need to sing. And a lot of times I've had people say, yeah, but you're just singing to the choir. It's not making any difference. But honestly, the choir needs singing too, because the choir gets tired. And so the idea that we can all sing together, like this daily antidote of song, which got people through the COVID thing. I think there are many people who I see in today's audience who have been stalwart members of this organization for a year or two, or 800 and however many days it was, and it has, the singing has made a difference for people. It gives people the strength to go on. It gives people hope. It makes us feel that we are in community with one another, and human beings need community, I think, more than anything else, and we now need it more than ever. And there's a piece of me that, I live out in the country, and on my road there are many, many Trump signs. I am the exception on this road. There's a handful of us, but they're my neighbors, and I need to know them, and they need to know me, because what's happening is people are becoming so separate that they don't know each other. And it used to be, it seems to me, there'd be Republicans and Democrats, and you might not agree on stuff, but you just, you'd work it out. And now things seem to be much more divided, and we tend to make gross assumptions about camps, of this camp and that camp. And I think it's more important than ever that we make the effort to get to know those people that we don't know, and for them to know us. Because I guess one of the things that comes to mind is one of the people that my husband works with is very different politically from him, but he has learned a lot from my husband. And in terms of the work stuff that they were doing, and he's learned to trust my husband's judgment, and it has molded this fellow's views. He's become softer about his views that
Mm,
are not
that's
in
lovely.
agreement with my
That's lovely
husband.
to hear, Sally. And it's not only the political stuff, the big effects of U.S. politics, but I'm noticing that in our politics, and I know it's happening in Britain too, that kind of confrontational dynamic between interpersonal relations and political relations is starting to creep across the border to us. We've got some right wingers that we never would have had before, but they've been enabled and emboldened by what they see happening, and that's happening in other places too. We're seeing it in places like Brazil and various countries in Europe. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous when that kind of thing you're talking about starts to take hold and people start to be confrontational with each other rather than actually listening to each other. And it's the one thing about the music, isn't it? You can't do it by yourself. You have to participate
Hmm. Hmm.
and
And
singing.
and I mean, this organization is nothing short of phenomenal. I mean, 800 and some days every day. I mean, I did, a song a day keeps the virus away, but I was lying because I only did it Monday through Friday. I didn't do Saturday and Sunday, and I only did it for 400 days. Half of what this is, and
So tell us about what you've
incredible.
got coming up. I know you've got Pine Woods. Now, I've never been to Pine Woods, but I keep on hearing about Pine Woods. Tell us about Pine Woods, Sally.
Well, the Pine Ridge Camp is run by the Country Dance and Song Society of the U.S., and there's also one in Canada. There's also one in the U.K. Um, and and so anyway, Pine Woods runs this camp, and I've been going since our daughter Milana was born. She's 34 now, so I go as often as I possibly can. Often I'm on staff. This year I'm on staff working with the little bitties. I've got the 0 to 4s and the 4 to 7s. And so the idea at Campers Week is they have less staff than usual. And the staff that they do have is in charge of the littles so that the parents can have a break and go dance. Um, so I'll be working with the wee ones and then the like I said, the 4 to 7s, and it should be a gas. It'll be really fun. And then of course there's beautiful swimming there and dancing and singing traditional dance and song, um, and people from all over the country. It's really
Sure.
fun.
So if people want to go to Pine Woods, I think there's a link in the chat right now that Jaden's put in. So thank you, Jaden, for that. And there's still registration available. People can sign up and go.
Well, I know that Campers Week is full and there's a waiting list.
Oh, okay.
But so it's really foolish of me to mention anything because you're helpless to come. But think about it for next year. There's uh, there's in addition to Campers Week, just go to the website for Pine Woods Camp, and you'll see all the different weeks. There's weeks every week of the summer, and actually there is one more week that I'm not able to go to, but my husband is going to, which is right after Campers Week, so on the 27th, I believe, or 8th, called Trad Mad, Traditional Music and Dance. And it's
Ah.
run by Heather Wood, who used to sing in the Young Tradition
Oh, wow.
with Peter Bellamy and
And Royston Wood.
Royston Wood, and Joy Bennett, who runs the Old Songs Festival. So the two of them organized this festival, and I believe that Martin and Eliza Carthy are going to be there this year.
Oh,
The
wow.
Box Hunters will be there. Excuse me, and I forget who all, but a bunch of people, and that's at the same camp. It is not run by the Country Dance and Song Society, but by Heather and Joy. And there are still bunks available for that one, and it
Oh
is
boy.
really
Well, I
fun.
have to tell you, one of the transformative evenings in my entire life happened in probably August of 1969. I was hanging out couch surfing in London, England, and I went to a folk club there and heard the Young Tradition, the whole evening of the Young Tradition, and it changed my life.
Yeah.
Hearing that kind of raw English, wonderful traditional harmony was just astonishing. I'd never heard that before.
Oh, yeah, and they were very affected by the Copper family
Yes, they were.
in England, and what they did is they took the Copper family's harmonies, which were two parts, and added a third part, which was sort of a new idea and has taken hold. And they know so many. I mean, Heather just knows a
Yeah.
gazillion songs.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful to hear. Well, that's great. Well, music is just cross-cultural, isn't it? I mean, we just dive into it, and we can have one particular brand that we like, but it's all we just let it in. It's like conversations that don't have an end. So
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, Sally, we've got time for your song again.
Oh, okay, okay.
For
I just
the,
noticed Joe said that Reggie Harris is going to be at TradMed. I'd forgotten that. Yeah, he's one of the
terrific.
people at TradMed. Do check out TradMed if you can possibly go. It's in Plymouth, Massachusetts. It's so much fun.
That
So,
would be amazing. I'm not. Anyway, I will check it out for sure.
yeah. Okay, so
So for those of us who are not in the U.S. and not as completely involved, tell us who. Now, what's her name again?
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams. Tell us who Stacey Abrams is. Now,
Oh, me. Me tell
yeah.
it. Yes. Stacey Abrams is an African American woman who lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and she ran for governor a few years ago, and the attorney general, who was a Republican, was running against her, and he basically fixed the election. That's the easy way to say it. You can look up exactly what happened. But in any case, she should have won the election and didn't. It was truly a stolen election. And Kemp, is the one who is now, I believe, I forget now if he's running against her again or not. I don't remember. In any case, she is now running again for governor. And what is amazing about Stacey Abrams is when she lost that election, she didn't go sulk in a corner, and she didn't shout out that, oh, this has been a stolen election and I'm going to sue and blah, blah. She didn't do any of that. No, she started an election called, an organization called, I think it's called Fair and Free Elections in Georgia. And she got people out to vote at the presidential election. And it's just down and dirty grassroots organizing, getting people out there, talking to people, getting the vote out, and so she's just amazing, and her ability to organize people is phenomenal. So anyway, she's a good one to look up. Somebody, Tusi is saying there's a great video of her. I haven't seen that video, but definitely go check it out. And if it hadn't been for her, Warnock and Ossoff would not have been elected. I don't think they are for you from out of the country. They are the two senators. Georgia turned blue, meaning Georgia went Democratic, because Ossoff and Warnock were both elected during that election, and she had worked to have that happen. Okay, so you ready to sing again?
Absolutely.
Shall we sing the chorus twice again every time?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta get the right key. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stolen election didn't stop you. Voter suppression didn't stop you. Blatant racism didn't stop you. Georgia has turned blue. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Thousands heard your quiet roar. They all went knocking door to door. Registered voters more and more. Now Georgia has turned blue. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. You showed Georgia what to do. got some help from the nation to convince the donors to come through. Now Georgia has turned blue. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Thanks to you from our great nation, you have built a strong foundation. Now take a well-earned short vacation. Georgia has turned blue. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. Before I sing the last time through the chorus, I want to say hello to a few friends that I haven't seen in a long time, and I feel like I know, even though most of them I have only seen on video. And one is Amanda and Miles over in Michigan. I did get to meet them at a concert in Michigan live a little bit ago. And Ann Morse, who I see is in her kitchen again. I saw her last weekend in Vermont live and in color. That was wonderful. And Aloysius, who I've never met, I don't think, but I might have. I'm not sure. But in any case, he was a daily participant in my song a day, Keeps the Virus Away. Those are the ones that come to mind immediately. I'd like to say hi to Pete Seeger too. Carolyn Wolf is hosting Pete at her house today. And so anyway, those are the ones that I can see right now that I definitely know. And I'm sure there are others of you there. I apologize if I didn't bring your name up, but I love y'all. Thank you very much. One last time, here we go. Stacey Abrams, what have you done to Georgia? Stacey Abrams, we could use a few more of ya. We could use a few more of ya.
All right, a big hand for Sally Rogers. Sally Rogers,
Thank you so
much for being here. I am so happy to have met you. Well, not quite in the flesh, but
I'm finding it's darn close. You know what? I've run into, it's amazing to me. I've run into a few of my online friends live and in color, and it's like we pick up where we left off, even though we never were in the same room together. It's quite a remarkable phenomenon that I did not anticipate.
And I don't think any of us anticipated. I've been doing choir sessions online, and it's kind of not like that too. You know, it does have some kind of thing. It's not like being together, but it's something. It's really something. And hats off to Joe and to Jaden and all the people behind the scenes who keep this going. Thanks to them, everybody. So, and so I'm going to say some goodbyes too now to Jaden and Jojo, who's there. They're putting this all together.
And Jaden, thank you for posting Stacey Abrams' organization, Fair Fight. I had the name wrong. Fair Fight. Thank you very much.
All right. And to the Curly Tops, and to Dan Walker, and to Jenny, and to Cricket, and to Annette, and Arlene, and Deborah, and Susan G, and Kevin in D.C., and Ann in Nashville, and Kathy, and Luda in Victoria, B.C., who's in my choir, and Jenny, and Sheila in Florida, and Kevin Ennis. Kevin, good to see you, and Sherry, and Aloysius, and Ruth in Birmingham, and back in the UK. Spent a nice weekend in Birmingham one time. And Susan Miller in Seattle, Mabel with her Dancing Bears, and Kate in Charlottesville, and James Harkless, who's been a guest a number of times here, and Ralph here in Victoria, and Anne in Maryland, and Storm, nice to see you, Storm. Carolyn Wolf with her little puppet, a Pete Seeger puppet. Pete, oh my goodness, here's somebody else I've learned many, many songs from. Jamie Dundas, my friend here in Victoria, Stephen Michelle, Lauren of Boston, Delhi, Martha in Toasty, Oregon, yes, Toasty, Victoria too. And there's Jojo again, Caroline in D.C., and Bonnie in Boise, Idaho, and Cliff in VT is Vermont, I think. Don Peabody also in Vermont, Amanda and Guys, Fred Stolnitz, and Sophie, and Bob and the Bear, and Nancy with her cow, and Jane in Texas, and some folks who are not on video, and Harriet Dart, there you go. Welcome everybody. Well, we don't welcome anymore. It's goodbye, everybody. I hope your day is good. Good. I'm going to sing my song one more time. Welcome, good morning everybody to the Antidote of Song. We've had some great songs to sing and we hope you sang along. We hope your day is full of peace, hope and joy, because the music is what binds us, woman, man and girl and boy, because the music is what binds us, woman, man and girl and boy, on the daily, not the weekly, not the monthly, not the annual, but the daily Antidote of Song. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you, Sally, again.
You're welcome. Wait a minute. Yeah, you're welcome. I thought I was unhooked. And I look forward to seeing some of you along the road someplace.
Yeah. Somewhere on the road. There's a song there, I think.
Yeah, on the road. That's Bill Staines. Yep.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. And thanks again yesterday for that ridiculously spectacular birthday celebration of moi. It was really amazing to be.
Happy birthday. Didn't know it was your birthday.
Yeah, well, yesterday was my birthday and everybody really did it up. And Jaden, you can go ahead and say goodbye to Facebook for us. Thanks, everybody on Facebook. And I was going to say,